Yeah, you like them.
What did you do? Pick a bouquet?
I think it's pretty.
Yeah.
And Cookie don't like the smell.
What have you got there? Camellias? Daffodils?
I got this little purple one.
Oh, that's a that's a grape hyacinth.
And I got this pink one.
Yeah, those are camellias. They're beautiful.
No, Cookie, you can't go out there, you little cheeky pumpkin.
He's wanting to go out. He's saying, hey, it's close to spring.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful day out here. Tomorrow will be the first day of spring, but it feels like spring today. It's beautiful, it's sunny, it's bright and sunny. Things are budding out, and it looks exactly like spring should look. The kids are out here playing. We went to Sam's today to get a few things. I'll include a picture to show you how Madeline handled Sam's. This is Madeline in the middle of Sam's when she's all done. She wants to go home. She was just over it. The tulips are starting to bloom. We've got one pretty one. Lots more to come out soon. Beautiful. I need to clean my car up. That's what I want to do today. I'm just going to clean it really good. And I got to clean out the bird baths. The bird baths are full of all kinds of stuff from the weather. I've got to get out here and just get these cleaned out. Get them filled up. The birds are out. That camellia's still producing. Ellie picked her a bouquet. Let's see, Ellie. Okay. That's pretty.
Thank you.
You want to set it in out of the sun? Because of where I park right here under these pine trees. So when these needles fall off, they get all down in here, and I'm constantly having to clean them out of these vents. So when I use my fan and stuff inside the car, it's stopped up with those pine needles a lot. Have to get out here and do that. Start doing some things that we can do in the spring. You just pulled it in front of the car so it'll reach. I gotta put the nozzle on it. So I'm here this morning and I'm just gonna come on in here and make my banana nut bread. Now I wanted to wash the car and I had it all set, but I decided to come in because some of my kids were not cooperating. I'm gonna have to do that when I got help with Donald here. But my car really does need to be cleaned up. We made it from Sam's today, and you know, when you haul stuff back and forth and you have a lot of people, your car always needs to be cleaned. Mine does. I like to spring clean my car at least once a year, and then a couple of times a year, just completely clean it inside out. And it needs it now. But I thought I better get in here and make my banana nut bread because these bananas are not going to wait for me any longer. I'll be using these bananas today, and they're well ripened. Now you don't have to use your bananas quite so ripened. A lot of people like to use them when they're like this, but we like to eat them when they're like this because they have the right amount of sugar. And then I like to bake with them when they're like this because they'll have the right amount of sugar and sweetness to make this banana bread perfect. Now the thing about these bananas being really ripe is they have optimum sugar and flavor, banana flavor, believe it or not. In America we eat our bananas way too green. Now I'm not talking about just eating these like this. You could if you wanted to, but they'd probably be really strong. But I am going to bake with them. I baked a lot of banana bread for the Ladies Fellowship, and one woman said, how do you get your bread so brown? And a friend of mine behind me said, she uses ripe bananas. And she's right. That's a key to making your banana bread really browned and good without adding anything else, and that's using good ripened bananas. And another tip to make your baked goods is use a dark pan. That'll help you also to have some really good, delicious, dark breads, whatever you put in them. If you use a bright pan, the things that you cook will be lighter. So I've got 2 good dark pans here, and I'm going to use these today. Now this recipe calls for 1 cup of sugar. I'm going to go ahead and put the sugar in. I've already got the sugar in here. I'm going to go ahead and add the oil. I'm not going to run it while the KitchenAid while the camera's on because it's just loud. But I'm going to show you what I'm putting in here. And I'm going to add the eggs. So I've got a cup of sugar, a half a cup of oil. Normally I have been using applesauce as my oil substitute. But today I'm going to go ahead and add the oil because I've got all of these bananas. And I want this bread to turn out good. So I'm not going to use the apples. I'm not going to use the apple fruit as an oil substitute. Then I'm just going to go ahead and cut these bananas up. And just put them right in here into my mix. And I am going to save the banana skins to put in the compost because they'll make excellent compost for the compost pile. These actually smell really good. They might not look so good, but they smell great. Okay, I've got the bananas, the oil, the sugar, and the eggs in here. And I'm going to mix up the dry ingredients. I've got 2 cups of flour. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. We're going to use 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Put through a sieve or a little strainer to make sure you don't have any lumps or chunks. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. A teaspoon of salt. And a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I'm going to whisk all this together to make sure that it's incorporated really well before I add it to my wet mixture. And then we'll just add it to this wet mixture. I may have to spoon it in there carefully and slowly. just a little bit at a time and let it incorporate well. And then when you've got it all mixed together, now you can add a couple of walnuts. I've took these out in the freezer. I'm going to add them to my bread here right before I put them into the pan. I am going to put about a tablespoon of flour in with these walnuts, and I'm going to kind of shake them around. And this will help these walnuts not to just float to the bottom, but it'll help them to get evenly dispersed throughout this banana nut bread batter. So when I add those, they'll disperse in that flour, in that batter, just the way they need to. They won't all sink to the bottom. Get what I can off of the beater here. I've got 2 dark pans greased. I've got the oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now these loaves won't be huge. They'll rise probably twice as what batter is in here. But they'll make nice little loaves for making a treat for coffee. Banana bread is excellent with coffee. I've got my husband, he loves to drink coffee and eat the bread. And then he also, I have a friend that loves to eat it for breakfast. Go ahead and mix these nuts in. Of course, the nuts are optional. You can certainly leave them out. You can make streusel to go on the top of this. That would also make it even, you know, elevated a level. Would be delicious. Want to work the nuts right down into the batter. I like to put the nuts in after I get the bread in the pan because it helps me to disperse them evenly through the bread. Okay, it's time to put this banana bread in the oven. It has to cook for about 55 minutes, which is kind of a long time. But not really with a made-from-scratch treat. We've got the timer on 55. Of course, it took a minute off because it's been in here. I've got the 2 loaves of walnut bread inside. In the middle of the oven, the light's on. I've got to clean this oven. My kiddos love to watch things bake. And now we're going to let the banana bread bake for about 55 minutes. We're out of the oven. I did brush some butter on them. I'll lift them out here and just put them on the cooling rack. That's the full 55 minutes that they cooked. Trying to do this with one hand here. Now they'll be ready to cook, slice up. That'll be really good to have with a cup of coffee. Thank you for joining me today, and let me share just today with you. I hope you come back again, like always. Until next time.